In the 70s and 80s, there was a tendency to separate out activities. You would have residential areas, you'd have commercial areas in CBDs. Over the last 30, 40 years, we've seen a gravitation towards a more holistic live, work, play in one area. And that's what makes the Kalpataru Parkcity so exciting. I'm very happy to be talking about Kalpataru Parkcity. I have been involved with the project over many years. Kalpataru Parkcity is a more holistic, connected community, especially since COVID, seeking connection. People are now seeking more they can do where they live, and the idea that one can provide a living environment that expands not just beyond the unit or the development, but into an entire township, I think is a very compelling idea. The way the master plan came about was the due diligence taken in developing the key concepts. You can start with a vision, which is the overall idea of a large park around which you have concentrated a series of developments, right down to traffic engineering, building massing, developing a sense of the spirit of a place, and making sure that the overall ideas are trickled down into the surrounding streetscape, into the way that buildings relate to that streetscape, and even into the way the towers are arranged to not only provide occupants with a relationship to the park and the public domain, but also what one sees from the public domain when one looks back at the arena of buildings around it. Part of the master plan is that the street around the park is full of retail, full of cafes, shops, activities. There's things happening at that frontage that makes great cities interesting. It was a very interesting idea of a kind of ungated residential community. And so Kalpataru Parkcity is unique not only in Thane, but also in Mumbai to have this kind of grand vision. HP Design was fortunate enough to be involved with already two of the very large parcels around Kalpataru Parkcity. One is Immensa and the other one is Eternia. These are very large projects. Immensa has 8 towers, Eternia has 10 towers. We were very clear that we're designing for the entire spectrum of clientele, small babies, children, all the way up to the elderly. Because of such a scale, we knew that our occupants were not going to fit into any kind of tidy demographic. One is the way that the towers are arranged on each site. We have pushed the towers to the perimeter of the site to create as big an open space in the middle. That becomes our eco deck, our planting zone, our landscape and common facilities zone. And in both cases, it's a very large area which is becoming the living room for each development as itself. On Immensa, there is a sort of large common deck at the mid-building level and even on the rooftop where everybody has access to these amazing high-level experiences. And so we call it a bit of the democratization of the high-rise experience to be everybody's experience, regardless of where your unit happens to be. When we were looking at benchmarks and how to think about this project and its individual developments, we were thinking of where parks have become benchmarks in great cities. And if you're in New York, you want to be around Central Park. If you're in London, Regent's Park or Hyde Park. Even in Paris, the Bois de Boulogne is a very large park. If you live around these, you have a very unique kind of lifestyle. And so those kind of benchmarks became references for us in order to understand the great asset that this 20-acre park represents. And so we think that with Kalpataru Parkcity, again, there is an opportunity for a great sort of synergy of what city living can be, which is high-rise also, but has that sort of outlet, that relief of density and stress with this parkscape.